Everybody has a list. But the question is, if you are half of the list that you are creating, your marriage will be very nice. If half of the list that you are writing for somebody to have before you say yes to, or before you propose to, if you have half of those qualities, your marriage will be very powerful. So in choosing a life partner, God is not so much interested in the other person as much as it's interested in you and how you are becoming over the years and over the months. Please, you understand? So how your single life is, how you live your single life is more important to God than what's the kind of person you are going to choose. Because if, depending on what type of person you are, they say you attract what you are, isn't it? Yes, what you are is what you attract. If you are not correct, you attract somebody who's not correct. Your taste buds are not right. You attract somebody who is not right. So in marriage is the only institution in the world that gives you a certificate before you start. Have you noticed? School is, we have universities. Universities are institutions. Schools are institutions. Now, before you enter the school, you are not given a certificate. You have to go through the courses, various courses. You do this one. If you're a science student, you do physics, you do chemistry, you do biology, you do integrated science, core maths, elective maths, all of those things. And then you write an exam. At the end of the exam, if you pass, whether you pass or not, they will give you a certificate. But whatever certificate you get will show what you did during your stay in the institution, isn't it? Yeah. Government is an institution that is established by God. Okay? Yeah. But government, they are good governments. The government is not bad. Government is good. It's from God. But if a government will be good or bad, it's dependent on the people who are in there. Africa is suffering from bad leaders, isn't it? It's not. There's no problem with leadership or with government. It's the people in it that are causing the problem. Is it true? Yeah. So marriage is an institution from God. The Bible says marriage is honorable than all. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. Let's look at it. Hebrews 13, 4. Marriage is what? Is what? Is honorable in all. So there's nothing wrong with marriage. These days people say if you marry, that's the end. There's nothing wrong with marriage. The institution is fine. It's okay. It's the people who get into it that's become a problem. The kind of people who get into it. I define marriage as a beautiful, honorable, gracious, pleasurable, loving, exciting place created by God. Where a man needs to change to become a husband and a woman needs to change to become a wife in order to enjoy that what is in there and fulfill the purposes of God for their lives. It's a nice thing. It's not some way. It is very nice. But how you enter makes all the difference. The kind of person entering is what makes the difference. So how your single life is makes all the difference. Please, you understand? So if you are entering and you are entering with a certain mindset that you are going to take the sex, you are going to take the emotional support, you are going to take the financial support, you are going to take every single thing you can think about, you have trouble. Because it's not a place to take, it's a place to give. So if you are not ready to give, then you are not ready for marriage. So you are given a certificate before you start the marriage because it is assumed that you have lived a good single life and you are now ready to supply to another person, not to take from another person. Hey. It is assumed that you are ready to commit. Because marriage is about commitment. Not when something happens, hey, I didn't marry for this. You didn't marry for, what did you marry for? You are ready to commit. You are ready to give. Commit. You are ready to communicate. Yeah. You are ready to compromise. Because marriage is all about compromise. Yeah. You don't do 50% and the person does 50%. You do 120. Even if the person is doing 1, you do 120. You are ready to supply. So you are given the certificate. It's assumed that you have learned to supply. You have learned to give. You have learned to compromise. You have learned to, you know that there's a covenant that you cannot break. No matter what. It's assumed. So God is interested in raising you and training you in your single life to be able to supply as you're supposed to be able to give. You are going to give love. You are going to give joy, not go and take. You are going to give joy. You are going to give love. You are going to give emotional support. You are going to give financial support. It's a giving thing. It's not a taking thing. It's a giving thing. It is more blessed to give than to receive. So how you live your single life makes all the difference.